Welcome to the deep dive. We take source material, could be anything really, and we try to pull out the key insights for you.
Yeah, straight to the point.
Exactly. So today we've got some material based on chronological biblical history.
Yeah.
It focuses pretty heavily on Revelation 12 and this idea of spiritual warfare.
Right. And the core idea, this sort of hook here, is that all the bad stuff we see, strife, plundering, tragedy, it's all rooted in this unseen spiritual battle.
And there's a warning tied to it.
A big one. The source material calls it the danger of clinging to the truth we want to hear, framed as basically Satan's wish.
Okay, Satan's wish. Let's unpack the conflict itself then. Who are the players here, according to this?
Well, you've got Satan, called the dragon, cast out of heaven, and now the text uses that image of a roaring lion looking for people to devour.
People made in God's image specifically.
Exactly. And the primary target, as interpreted here, is the woman from Revelation 12.
Who they identify as.
The church or the saints, believers. And the implication is stark. Persecution, being scorned, ridiculed, that's not just possible, it's expected. It's part of the deal for believers.
So believers are the target, but it sounds like the main weapon isn't, direct physical attack. It's something else.
Deception. That's the key strategy highlighted. They use this metaphor from Revelation 12.1 of the serpent pouring water like a river from its mouth.
Water like a river.
Oh.
So not a literal flood. What is it then?
It's presented as a flood of false gospels and pseudo-gospels. Messages that sound appealing, maybe easier, designed to sweep believers off the right path.
Mm-hmm.
And they make a point to contrast this with, the positive biblical image of rivers of living water. So it's like an imitation, a dangerous one.
An imitation. Does the source suggest this can actually look like real faith? Maybe even like a big revival?
Yes, that's exactly the danger. It might look like tremendous revival, but if the motivation is just one's own satisfaction and benefit, maybe stimulating greed or comfort,
then it's part of that deceptive flood.
Precisely. It's just following the words you want to hear, not the actual truth, even if it looks religious on the outside.
Okay, that's a concerning thought. So if deception is the main attack, what's the defense? What's the standard people should hold on to?
It's very clear on this. God's word alone is the standard for life. That's the anchor.
And they connect this to Jesus.
Yeah, referencing Revelation 1.16, where Jesus has the sharp two-edged sword coming from his mouth. That sword is the word. Life and truth cuts through the lies.
So knowing the word isn't optional, it's like mandatory for survival in this view.
Absolutely. And there's a reason given. They bring up Amos 3.7, the idea that God reveals his plans. Judgment needs a standard. If there's no clear standard, how can there be judgment?
Right. So you need that baseline.
And the moment you start twisting that standard, interpreting God's will based on your own ideas or feelings,
that's where the problem lies.
The source calls that idolatry. Basically, trying to make God's will fit your desires instead of the other way around. That confusion is the goal of the enemy, according to this analysis, preventing people from knowing God's actual heart.
Okay, so connecting the dots. If this unseen spiritual war is happening, how does it supposedly link to, the things we see in the news? Wars, disasters.
This is the big picture connection they make. All of it, wars, famine, immorality, even things linked to, say, rapid climate change, natural disasters. The source claims these are the direct result of the hidden spiritual conspiracies of the cunning and despicable Satan.
Wow. So the visible world is just reflecting this hidden battle.
That's the core assertion. The unseen governs the seen. The chaos isn't random. It's symptomatic of the spiritual fight.
So bringing it back to the listener, what's the takeaway? What should someone do with this understanding?
The call is to be awake, fully alert, and to live a life of witness. They use the term priest, meaning someone who proclaims God's real will, not the watered-down version.
In all areas of life.
Yeah. Home, work, wherever you are, establishing a life that actually reflects God's standard.
Okay, so let's circle back to that initial warning, the words you want to hear.
Right, because that brings us to the final challenge posed by this material. If you accept this premise, intense spiritual warfare, a flood of tempting pseudo-gospels aimed right at your desires.
Mm-hmm.
How do you personally ensure you're actually following that sharp, two-edged sword standard, the real word? How do you make sure you're not just sliding down that river of comfortable lies, pursuing your own satisfaction, your own inner greed, even if it feels spiritual? That's the battleground they lay out.